Welcome to Divinity 648. My name is Christina. I'm a high vibrational energy intuitive. This is kind of like a New Year reading, but it's going to happen every 5 days. Because the goal of this reading, this style reading, is to promote change, right? And the vibration of 5 is transformative energy. It's change, it's transformation. It's basically the tools that you need to transform your energy and your perspective and the way that you engage with the paths that you have all around you. So, today is January the 5th, 2022, and every 5 days I'm going to post a reading both at YouTube and the podcast. And it's going to be titled Convos with the Cosmos. And basically, I am reading for you, and I'm not just using cards. I'm not just using crystals. I'm working with essential oils, um, candles, water, and tarots. So there's a combination. And I also have, if you are high vibrational, you will understand the power of scent. You will understand that just like with colors, crystals, and everything else, you can, HC frequencies, you can shift your vibration with smells. You can shift your vibration with colors, anything, very quickly. Very quickly. So, getting into it. I am working with Digest Vitality from Essential Oils today. So, if for any reason you just know this smell and you can smell it, or you can taste it, you can understand that you're in my space. It doesn't matter when you watch this. And I know that to be true because I've tested it with other clients. So, amazing energy, right? There's a lot of potential for individuals who are really tapping into their best self. This is general, by the way. Sorry. I like to just get into things. I hate long interludes. So, a lot of potential as far as those who are going with the flow, working with their soul tribes, their spiritual core, working with ancestors, and ancestors can be friends, loved ones, actual family members. And then the generation of ancestry goes as far back as before years even existed. So you want to take that into consideration when I'm talking about soul tribe, soul court. I'm not limiting that to the individuals that were physically living in this lifetime, but I'm including everyone in those soul tribes, those soul courts, those ancestral it looks like a orb, but it's a big court, like it's huge. And it does include the individuals that are a part of your life on a soul level. This is not just bloodline DNA that we could use science with. I'm talking like past lives type stuff, right? Okay, so lots of potential, lots of growth. A lot of people are in that, oh, I'm not so experienced in this, but let me try it. And holy shit, I nailed it kind of flow. Quite a lot of you are trying to really find that way of, it's like you want to hate something or you want to fight something, but you can't help but just love it. And it's like every time you look sideways, you kind of catch a glimpse of that person or that situation's beauty, because it doesn't have to be a person. And someone is just like, I want to hate you. I want to hate you, but every time I look at you a certain kind of way or a certain kind of face just makes it very difficult to not be attracted to you. I know that sounds really weird, but there's just someone struggling in some type of an energy where they want to hate someone really bad, but they can't help but find themselves really attracted to that person. It's kind of like the neighbor I had, right? Straight woman, married, kids, but she couldn't help but find a sexual attraction to me. And I know if she struggled with it before she let me know about it. Uh, it's that kind of feeling, but on a much bigger, it's on a larger scale. So I feel like there's probably a lot of people going through this specifically who are struggling with, just struggling in general with overcoming that inner conflict, of not understanding why you feel the way that you are feeling, if that makes sense. Um, if you understand what I was just explaining, stop fighting it. I'm not sure why you need to stop fighting it, but it's almost like we hate tomatoes until we actually start eating them and realize they're not so bad. Or it's like, you dip your toes in the water and it's cold, so you kind of fight it, but then when you jump in, you realize like it's not so bad. Um, the reason why you are having so much hatred toward that individual is because that individual radiates key things that you wish to embody within yourself. It's things that you yourself have karmic cycles that you need to address and work on, but you're not able to because you're so wrapped up in the physical realm. And this person prompts that. This person challenges you. This person brings feelings out of you that you need to address and work on. Um, so hating that person is completely normal, right? It's like, you know, parental guidance. You tell your kids to do something, they don't want to do it. They resent you for it, but then they get over it, right? You're in that stage of realizing like it's time to just get over it and do what you got to do. If there's something that is irking your soul or bothering you that somebody does, check yourself. Do you do it or do you not do it? Should you be doing it? What could you do to do things differently? Because if you are healed and in your true alignment, and doing what you need to do, you wouldn't be bothered. You'd be looking at someone instantly and being like, oh, I fucking hate that shit, but I completely get it, right? Because you understand as a higher vibrational person that people do things for certain reasons, and instantly you just know what that reason is, and it's always unique to that specific individual. So yeah, it can irk your soul and it can trigger you, but instantly as a higher vibrational person, your first reaction needs to be is where and how do I portray that energy, and if not, great. um Instantly you just know, right? Like, I don't know how else to explain that. um yeah, I did it right. So, calling in your soul family is huge collectively, especially as the more individuals realize that they are kind of in uncharted seas. You're kind of like, oh shit, I'm new to this. I'm new to this energy. There's a lot of people understanding what it means to be high vibrational. Like when people first heard the words divine feminine, divine masculine, chosen ones. um, there's a lot of people just learning how to heal and grow. And what they're realizing is if I don't own my shit, it gets worse because people are not making things easy anymore. They're holding people accountable. So either you step up to the plate, own your shit, or it's going to get worse. And this is parental figures as well. It's like after a while, your kids are getting older. You can't keep sheltering them and protecting them from the fuckery. You have to let them trip and fall. So that way they can realize, hey, you're not a child anymore. There's actual real consequences. And that sucks. So you want to do the work. And it's okay to make mistakes, right? This is the point where they are allowed to make these mistakes because they're still in your care. They still have you to fall back on. Not to say that you won't be there later on, but this is a lot. I'm talking to someone who's dealing with older kids. This is that point where you still stay firm. You don't fold in your cards, or you don't put your cards out on the table. Thank you. I did a morning message episode on podcast, and it was the divine hasn't put all their cards on the table. I just heard that the divine has officially put their cards on the table. So you might want to hear that episode. Pretty interesting. So you're dealing with older children, you're doing the things that you need to do, you're going through the waves and the emotions and the motions of being in the fifth dimension, and understanding that your past behaviors, past tendencies are no longer being tolerated, excuse me, channeling, regardless what area of your life this information is relevant to. So the information that I'm going to give to you is so important for you to understand. One, how do I portray myself in this manner? How am I behaving in the dynamic that is being discussed? Could I be behaving in a different way? And what lessons and karmic cycles need to be put to bed? Because remember, equinox season is March, right? So we really need to do what we need to do, or shit continues to unfold for you. So Sagittarians, collectively, Sagittarians who have Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Aries, and Scorpio. Actually, Sagittarius, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Aries, Scorpio. If you have any of those signs anywhere in your birth chart, all of the things I'm about to say to you are 100% relevant to you, and this information can flow for up to 221 days. Um, if you do not know your birth chart, you can get them online for free. Astro Cafe has a nice calculator. You want to double check the information. I think it was the moon sign that I saw a conflict with, but I could be wrong. So just double check the information. Always make sure the information is valid. I could be wrong though. It could be if you have a cusp placement, it doesn't come in correctly, or you just want to double check with other resources, okay? Because I think there's a cusp issue with the birth chart. Sagittarius, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Aries, Scorpio. Even if you only have one in your birth chart, all of this information applies to you for up to 221 days from today, January the 5th, 2022. It could go longer depending on your actions, of course, because you have free will, right? We all do, even the people that you interact with. So Sagittarius specifically, there's so much potential in everything that you're working with. It's like everything you touch turns to gold, or everything you get involved with, you nourish and it flows. You don't even have to have continuous involvement, right? It's like when I work with my clients, I have the ability to send them some of my energy, and all of a sudden they can do amazing, incredible, wonderful things like the gift of mediumship and really helping souls cross over and heal. And then when I call back my energy, they're like, whoa, what the fuck just happened? How do I get that all back? You are in this flow of being able to really get yourself where it needs to go. Okay, you just have to keep your energy clean, stay grounded, keep your thoughts on a higher vibration. If you have a hard time with that, work with some selenites, black tourmaline, raw stones specifically is really important. A lot of black tourmaline is really great. Clear quartz crystals are amazing, but again, you want to keep it not so much the polished stuff, but that really raw stuff so you can get the most of the benefits. But everything you're doing doing has a lot of potential, right? So at nighttime, I feel like you are really expanding on a, it doesn't have to be nighttime. It could be your shadow side. It could be things that you are still working through and aren't completely 100% certain of, but you can see that potential in it. Trust what you're getting. Remember, always listen to your inner intuition. You don't want to stay up here. Up here is your brain. I'm sorry, this is podcast also. Um, your your headspace is supposed to be treated like a dream catcher, kind of like a spider web, kind of like a, oh God, kind of like a spam filter in your email. It's like you get all that, it filters everything for you and it keeps it up there. It's like the notifications when your mind starts racing because it means that your box is full. So you want to really filter through everything. If it, most of the things that happen up here is for you to take under consideration when you're going about your everyday life. It's kind of like the drawing board, but what you really want to be focusing in on and listening to and allowing to guide you is that inner intuition, that soft guidance, that internal GPS that always is on and constantly flows. Um, So a lot of the things that you've been working on internally, intellectually, in the dream state, it's time to really do what you got to do and put those things in motion. It's time for you to trust that intuition and do what you need to do. And a lot of you are working on that crown chakra activation. Phenomenal. It's really great for you. Um, you're really starting to unfold in different ways. A lot of you, if you start paying attention to smoke, and I'm talking like sage smoke, incense smoke specifically, you're going to start to notice that those shapes mean something if you understand what I'm talking about. Great. So I have to keep this quick. So really light up your soul, really keep yourself motivated, you're being stimulated, right? Pay attention to the shapes, pay attention to the numbers, learn numerology if you haven't already, understand the various ways of divination, smoke, fire, water, and so much more. A lot of you really need to refill your cup. Right? A lot of you really need to get next to water. If you can't get by the water, sit in some meditation and project yourself at water. Astral traveling is phenomenal if you know how to do so safely. If you do not know or have experience, please do not do it. You could do guided meditation with me. I can do those virtually or in office, especially if you pass the requirements for passing COVID exposure. Um, Aquarius, you're going to start going through things if you haven't already that really bring in happiness and peace and love within your life, right? There's something that is really bringing your true essence. There's something that's actually taking you out of that stagnant, rigid, I'm so tired of walking around like I have a stick up my ass flow, and really bringing you into this form of light. It's like the minute you let go of the things that, listen, any sign, but specifically you, everyone has a soul tribe, everyone has a soul core. Everyone has past lives, and unless you're like a brand new soul. And I don't think that brand new soul would even them have past lives because we incarnate as insects and bugs. We literally go through every single life cycle so that way we can have empathy and sympathy for every living being that we interact with and engage with, or even if it's in another part of the country. You literally go through various cycles of life so you can understand and gain the emotional, intellectual ability to converse and communicate and have that unconditional love, because unconditional love comes for and comes through you for all beings, all individuals, all species. Nothing is supposed to be without love, right? That's why when you watch shows like The First 48, they could have a gangbanger who just was in the limelight for shooting someone, and they give them the most respect and treat them with just as much attention to their case and trying to resolve it as the victim that they murdered just the week before. And that's because you're supposed to treat people with the same amount of unconditional love um, and understanding no matter what. Sorry. I have opened online scheduling, online booking for everyone after hearing too many times that it needed to be done. So people are allowed to schedule at their will at divinity648.com, and that's for both in office and virtual. I do have the times that I'm available in office written at the top of the services. And I am following up with all in office clients to confirm their exposure to COVID prior to us meeting. So if you do not leave a phone number, you do need to leave an email. And if you do not respond to the COVID survey by just answering the questions directly, your appointment will be canceled regardless if you paid online or not. COVID is very real. It's still out there. I just got over it. Um, I'm not taking anybody in office this week. I'm waiting another extra week before I do that, but I'm going to be extremely cautious with individuals coming in to see me. Okay. So, Aquarius, lots of energy and situations are going to be unfolding naturally for you. And it's so funny to me because I'm being prompted to call out it's critical for you to see the humor in every situation. Find the blessing. Don't allow yourself to get stuck in the fuckery. You do have a soul tribe, you have a soul court, you have a lot of individuals who are helping you to release things. When you make a manifestation, when you are requesting for guidance, love, and help, it's important for you to release all of those expectations that come with that. So that way you are able to actually see them come about, right? You never want to hold on to any of those details, because then you're going to be like, well, when is it going to come? When is it going to come? It's like, when am I going to see my kite up in the sky? Meanwhile, it's still in your hand. You got to let that shit take off. Okay, Aquarius? Gemini. You are getting a lot of ancestral wisdom. You should be experiencing things that the collective people like to say are downloads. I used to call them downloads as well. They're actually like our nerves, how our nerves work, like the brain sends signals and then we feel it goes up and down literally because the brain is constantly sending signals through your nerves, right? And then when you get hurt, that nerve, because the brain is constantly sending signals like, hey, you want anything, check up. Like when your email syncs, your brain does that constantly throughout all of your nerve endings, right? So as you get hurt, your brain instantly knows this because it's constantly syncing information, okay? So when you start to get these random, like, I don't know how the fuck I know this, but I fucking know this, and this is fucking amazing moments, you can trust and believe that your energy is in alignment with your true path, your true essence, your higher self. And you're constantly getting that syncing information. So as situations arise and you need information, that constant sync with your higher self is giving you the information that you need, which is why we say, oh shit, I got a download. The reason why people don't get downloads consistently all day, every day, the average person, is because they're not in alignment with their higher self, their true vibration, their core essence kind of flow. So, Gemini, especially those on the higher vibrational level of things, you are in alignment. And you are getting a lot of synchronized hits. You're getting a lot of information, which is called a download. And a lot of this is putting you in alignment or putting you in place with being in that harmonious, happy, family dynamic. And family isn't just physical children or a loved one or your household or your immediate relatives. It's your soul tribe, it's your soul core, it's people at work, it's your family from work, right? It's all of the in-betweens. A lot of you are challenging the word starseed. You're kind of like, what the fuck is a starseed? How do I understand all this? What does that mean? Number one, a lot of us who are reincarnated and have been here many years understand what a starseed is. It's like a normal thing, right? Like I know when I'm not even going into personal shit. So starseed is like, you know, that you're connected in very beautiful ways to many different things. It's like that whole time growing up, you don't fit in, you don't really belong. You're more of like an observer. You're more of like I just like the misfit of everything, the black sheep of everything kind of flow. You don't follow the trends, you follow yourself. Like me, I never see, there I go again. Never follow the trends, always kind of do my own thing, right? Like I buy the UGG boots way after they came out of season, and it's like I'm not gonna wear it just because all y'all wearing it. I'm gonna wait until you play that shit out and then I'll start wearing it, because like what the fuck? Like I want to wear it when I feel like wearing it, not because everybody else is doing it. You could call that rebellious and defiant, but it's almost the same thing like when I bought the 2014 Infinity Q50. It was like, hello, the screen started blacking out and I'm going to the dealer. I'm like, well, this is the first version and blah, 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 blah. And, we've got a lot of kinks. And it's like, okay, so fuck me, right? So it's almost like not getting the Xbox. The minute the Xbox comes out, you kind of wait for them to work all the kinks out. Starseed. You kind of just observe a lot. You are more of an introverted kind of energy right now, and you are projecting that starseed quality, not necessarily because of any other thing, but you are learning what your true essence is. And that doesn't make you a starseed. It just means you're really dominant, being worked with your ancestors, and your ancestors can go as far back as predating years, okay, like actual time. Um, so you really are being challenged to have a higher perspective, a better point of view. You're being challenged to see things from a different light. Libra, I can totally relate to this energy. So there's a lot of things that you're unsure of. It's almost like stepping out of your comfort zone. Kind of, you could be switching gears, switching careers, switching educational goals. Kind of just like, ooh, I'm unsure about this, but I really need to go for it. And when you go for it, it's like that Sagittarian energy. Everything you touch turns to gold. Everything just turns to gold. That's another thing. When you are in service and you hear sirens going by, and you know that you just need to stop and just pray and bless everybody that is involved. Don't ever challenge, question, or hesitate. If you ever get that sudden urge to pray for someone or a situation, even if you are completely external to it, just stop and do so. When we say there's chosen ones and we're, all these things, what it means to be chosen is to be able to receive the power, to be able to receive that light, to be able to be one. And when they say Horus or God, and I mean all gods, all goddesses can see all things at all times, everywhere, that's because there's chosen ones, there's light workers, there's people who can embody light holy light, spiritual light, the seven soul rays kind of light. And by you being alert and pulled in different directions, and you see and you experience things, you're the light that it's like a nerve ending, right? Remember what I just said? Kind of like your email, everything gets synced. The way your brain is constantly sending um, information throughout all of your nerves to double check and make sure everything's in alignment. The divine does the same. They're constantly sinking in. They're constantly checking in on their descendants to make sure that things are okay. Do you need anything? Are you in danger? Is there a situation arising where there is the need for God? Is there a need for divine intervention? Are you following divine order? Everybody has the power of free will. We also have the power to follow, trust, and believe in our own intuition and understand that that core intuition is synced, right? Synced. That's why everything touches the heart. Our core intuition is synced to the divine, it's synced to God. So when you have spiritual conversations internally, this is where you're connecting to. And Libra, you are going through a lot of spiritual awakenings, and you are able to have that cup filled naturally for you, whereas Sagittarians more in that energy of how can I do more to fill my cup, meaning go within, trust your intuition and do the work, and be that voice that people are trying to hear. So Libra, it's really important that you don't stay in your comfort zone. Don't keep all that shit for yourself. Share the wealth, fill up that basket and go and deliver what you kind of like Tinkerbell, right? Spread that fairy dust kind of shit. Go out there, be that light, do what you gotta do. Um, Contracts, be careful with contracts. Don't sign contracts. If you could do things as independent as possible from a contract, please do so. I don't know when Mercury retrograde is. I can just feel the energy is already, I'm going to have to look it up. I can feel the energy similar to Mercury retrograde already sinking in. Um, So Mercury retrograde is supposed to take place when? I should have did this beforehand, but I wasn't thinking. Um, so you can find the dates online. The site that I'm on is called Glamour. Um, So Mercury retrograde 2022 is in full swing on January 14th to February 3rd in Aquarius, then May 10th to June 2nd in Gemini, and then September 9th to October 2nd in Libra, and then December 29th to January 18th, 2023 in Capricorn. And that is yeah, those are the dates you may want to stay inside as Mercury retrograde will be in full swing. So I just said I'm already feeling the energy of Mercury retrograde, and it's in full swing as of January the 14th. And that's like what? That's like 9 days from now. So no contracts, avoid contracts. If you get a job proposal or anything, avoid signing anything up front. Really take your time, really digest it, go through it with a fine tooth comb. Look for employment opportunities that allow you to do like a 1099 or be your own boss, kind of like a contractor thing. I'm hearing like there's going to, because like COVID and all this stuff and legal stuff and HIPAA and all these weird things are going on, and all these fluky things are not concrete, and there's a lot of loopholes I'm hearing, and there's a lot of situations that are going to be unfolding that somehow, some way are going to prompt for, like all of a sudden there's that Family Leave Act and you got to pay into it even if you don't have to be out, kind of like an FMLA kind of thing. I can't remember what it's called. So it's like you're paying taxes into stuff that benefit, and I'm not knocking it, I'm not challenging it. I'm just simply highlighting that there's something in that way of things. So if you can do everything as a 1099, be your own boss kind of thing, that's more beneficial. And I don't know why I'm hearing that, but I'm hearing that more so because of this Mercury retrograde energy, right? So you really want to see like how you could go about things as a 1099, see how you could do things as like a be your own boss, get your own company going, get hired as a contractor versus an employee. And then there's all kinds of serious shutdowns because of I don't understand why, because there's so many different components involved. But I just feel like 1099 that shit. I don't know why, especially for Libra. Maybe there's a legality. Maybe you're thinking about changing careers. Maybe you're going to be working with the judicial system or something. You don't want to become an employee. You want to 1099 that shit. Because the experience that you have is limited to your expertise or something. Throat chakra. That's definitely the throat chakra and nothing but. Just 1099 that shit. So stay grounded and share your light, share your gifts. Be able and willing to give more out than you receive, and trust that the divine will keep that cup filled. Don't allow yourself to get bitter by people's negative reactions because you are that light. Aries. Uh, Aries, there's so much popping for you and so many beautiful, romantic, and um, harmonious available for you if you stop restricting yourself and allow yourself to entertain all of your options. A lot of you need to focus on getting grounded. You've been so busy going with the flow and dancing around with what works for everybody else that you stop taking care of yourself. And that's key. Scorpio energy is really working towards finding the beauty in all situations. You're no longer focusing on where the grass is greener as far as it being under other individuals, but more so keeping your cup hydrated, full, working on keeping your energy high, vibrational, staying in alignment with yourself, healing yourself. You have to heal yourself to be in alignment with yourself, right? To be one, to be whole. So that way you could be that lotus flower that shoots from the bottom, murky of all dark and woe, straight to the top of that water without a drop of mud on you, shining under the sun and really being your true essence. You want to radiate that beauty, but that beauty comes from healing from everything that has ever hurt you and staying true to yourself and being in alignment with yourself. Okay. Um, I have time. So moving on. So everything that I said, right? The releasing your manifestations, having a spiritual wish or a conversation and letting it go out into the universe and allowing it to just flow and being okay if it comes back as something different is so critical. And this goes for everybody: Sagittarius, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Aries, and Scorpio dominant. But it does go for everybody. Staying grounded is key for all of these signs that I just called out, but also for everybody, because I'm getting into the next flow of energy. So whatever I'm saying now kind of goes for everybody, but mostly dominant for Sagittarius, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Aries, and Scorpio, but also for everyone else at this point. You're really starting to unfold. You're really starting to understand spirituality on a different level. You're really understanding that there's that caterpillar into the butterfly. It applies to us too. We go from human beings, thus the caterpillar. We transform through the transformation of death into spirit, thus the butterfly. Just like the butterfly can fly everywhere now and see us, whereas the caterpillar is like, what the fuck is that? Spirit comes back to us, right? We are those butterflies when we transform into death. We go everywhere. We see things that the human being cannot see, and we can go places and experience different layers and levels of things that the physical body restricts us from. So Sagittarius, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Aries, Scorpio, you have really been challenged to really accept that information, and you're going through things that are challenging you to see through all of the things that limited your perspective prior to. And the rest of the signs are either just entering this energy or have already left this energy. Left this energy. So, or maybe, depending on your vibration. So it's so important collectively for you all to just heal and be okay with all of that stuff that is going on in your life, and find the humor, find the happiness, find the beauty in things, and share that wisdom that you're getting, right? Especially if you're of the people who are getting the synchronized heads, right? As fast as you're asking the questions, you're getting the information. And if your vibration's off, then it takes a little bit longer for that information to reach you, but it will eventually reach you, depending on how high vibe and how far out you're working with, right? And you'll know what I'm talking about depending on your vibration. So Capricorn, Virgo, Pisces, Leo, Taurus, Cancer energy. Everything that I'm about to say is dominant in your space, but it's dominant for you, but it affects everybody collectively. Okay, dominant for those signs, and again, Capricorn, Virgo, Pisces, Leo, Taurus, and Cancer. So Capricorn, whatever you're being creative about, very victorious. Call in those soul tribe members, call in those people that are relevant to whatever it is that you're working on. If they're only in spirit, that's okay. But if you got people on the physical realm, include them, forgive them, love them. Remember that people are having human experiences. We're all having human experiences, regardless of the connection you have with your ancestors or not. And it's important that as you become more victorious, you don't forget how you got there and who stayed by your side while you got along. Forgive those people who probably should have been left behind in 2021, because they are new and inexperienced and kind of in uncharted seas as well, right? They're new to this shit. But you're about to be very victorious, Capricorn. You're about to be very victorious. You are that creative energy that is required to get shit done, not just for yourself, but for the other individuals in your life as well. So as you notice people gravitate towards you, just remember you're vibrating very high, and you're sharing that vibration. I've got cell phones next to me and I moved my crystal. So let me put that back. So, Capricorn, if you notice people are really gravitating towards you and you're really popping with the creativity, don't be selfish with that shit. Share that light. That's why you have it. If you do not, you will lose that shit. Trust me, I understand it. So very victorious in everything that you are working on. All of your creative projects are really victorious. Don't forget to call on that soul tribe though. Help that soul tribe as well. If you see that they're struggling, send them that light. Remember, we all, not we all, but majority of us have the ability to embody a serious amount of light. We are able to get that constant flow of information with the divine and our ancestors. And when I say ancestors, I mean way past the the recording of time, because there was life before people knew how to record events in time. So call in that energy, call in that information, and be open to receiving it if you choose to. Virgo. Virgo's been going with the flow a lot lately, especially when it comes to contractual things or legality stuff. It's almost like uh, doing what you got to do, kind of following every single rule, even if it makes no sense whatsoever. It's like, why do we have to do this? It's like 50 million steps when I could just do one. And you've been doing the 50 million steps anyway. Continue to have that patience, though. You are experiencing a lot of things that fall under the category of light worker. Um, Learn about it, understand it. And whenever you learn about something on the internet, kind of pull yourself back and trust your intuition, right? I've got books that I bought that I could not leave behind in the store, and I only reference like one section from one chapter of the entire book on a repetitive basis. Everything else to me is kind of like, whatever. Virgo, man, what do you listen, Virgo? There's somebody in your life that you like love the shit out of that means more to you than anything else in the world. And no matter how hard you fight it, you just can't stop. You keep getting pulled. Stop thinking negative thoughts towards that individual. That's a soul tie. And I'm not just talking like a divine counterpart soul tie. I'm talking like an angelic realm type soul tribe. Like, I don't want to start throwing terms down because I've not heard anybody talk about this layer of counterpart, and I don't really want people to jump on that what is that bandwagon yet? Because people don't comprehend what's already been discussed clearly yet. So to add more to it, it would just be like a clusterfuck. But you have a soul contract with someone, and no matter how many times you pull yourself back, oh my goodness, that soul contract, it's just too strong. You're not breaking the bond. You can keep trying, but you can't break the bond. And it's not witchcraft, it's nothing psycho, it's not man made, it's not anything of that nature. That's your person. We are always incarnated with our, like the yin yang energy. And sometimes we don't physically ever cross paths with them, but we get them spiritually or intuitively. When you cross paths with your actual person, your actual yin yang person, okay? The one that can never fucking be replaced. And you're both carnated in the same lifetime, and you're both physically crossing paths, you can't, it's like a magnet. Um, you can pull them apart, separate them, but if they cross paths within a certain distance, depending on how strong that magnet is, they just collide. You could pull them apart and keep them apart, and they can go in different directions and do whatever they want. But regardless of where they go and how they go about it, that magnet, whenever something comes up, like a song, or you see a person, or you go by something, or whatever, that magnet just pulls you right into place. you know and I'm talking like on any and every level. If you're intimate, regardless if it's with yourself or someone else other than your soul person, they're going to feel that, they're going to experience it, and they're not going to really understand it. And it's important that they trust their intuition instead of the fuckery, because connections like that are so fucking rare. Excuse my language. They're so rare in the physical that when they do happen, it is so powerful. It just can't be severed, like period, can't be severed. So don't try to fight that union. Don't try to fight that connection. Just trust the things that you're going through. Trust that vibe. It's really important to just trust yourself. And again, you have free will. You can go in any direction that you want. But regardless what you're doing, if you feel that connection, um, try to see around it. Try to accept it. It doesn't mean you have to give into it. It just means you have to accept it. And then that inner conflict kind of goes away and you can actually start seeing through it. And you can unlock a lot of spiritual gifts and blessings for yourself by giving recognition to the connection. You don't necessarily have to be in union physically, but by acknowledging it, you're giving that synchronized information with the divine that you acknowledged it, you see it, you understand it. Now, what's next, right? Um, Pisces, very creative right now. You've got somebody in your life who's going to be sparking a lot of things going on for you. Whether you're working with a life coach, whether you are working on your own tendencies, past behaviors, or whether you've recently lost a loved one who was very spiritual on the physical realm that you can sense, smell, feel, and experience now that they're in spiritual realm. I just see you being able to really see through, really activate that crown chakra, and the third eye is activated, and you're getting a lot of spiritual phenomena. You're experiencing spirit on a deeper, very powerful level. You are being visited by a feminine energy dominant, but there's also masculine who might be more, it doesn't matter the sex when they were living, but they're in this energy of nurturing you. They're in this energy of really helping you through the things that you're going through in the physical realm. Leo is, listen, Leo, some of you are, okay, Taurus and Leo. Taurus and Leo. And if this isn't directly you, it's the people that you're dealing with. But Taurus and Leo, man, Leo, you need to get out of your ass, like get your head out of your ass, number one. Okay. A lot of you know some dark, dirty things about yourself that you don't share with people. And you need to cut that out. You need to let go of any toxic feelings or any bad, low vibrational energies within yourself and release that. Okay. Release yourself. Forgive yourself, because you have nobody to blame for the things that you go through in your life but yourself, because of the power of free will. You have free will to ignore your intuition. You have free will to involve yourselves with people you shouldn't be involved with. You have free will to love the shit out of the wrong people. You have free will to allow yourself to be patient with someone who ends up hurting you over and over and over and over and over again. You can't be the victim. You have to own that shit. Yes, I'm in pain. Yes, I need to heal. Fine, I've healed. I'm no longer in pain. I am back in control. Taurus, your past, it's okay to leave the past behind. It's okay to forgive people and not feel obligated to continuously hold on to certain things, especially romantic love, right? It's almost like Taurus is healing from love. Taurus is healing from maybe you dated someone who wasn't the best person, and you kind of punish everybody moving forward because they somehow, some way embody something about the individuals that you dated. And if you stuck around long enough or gave enough attention to detail, you'd understand that um, people change, people grow, people are different, and not everybody that embodies every certain aspect of your past deserves to be held accountable for past people's actions. And you're realizing that stereotypes are fucking no longer really a thing. It's time to stop using stereotypes. If people haven't noticed, stereotypes are not as accurate as they used to be. And if you haven't noticed that yet, you got 221 days to get with it. So Taurus is reflecting on the past a lot. There's a lot of people in the past or who belong in the past for Taurus who are very envious because you leaped. You trusted yourself. You're following your intuition. You're not going with the bullshit. You don't give a fuck what people have to say, right? You were lied to. on a lot of different occasions by people who were extremely envious of you. And you chose not to stay and sit on those lies. You chose to take off. You chose to ascend. You chose to trust your divine higher power, whoever you call your God, gods, goddesses, whoever you choose to allow to influence your life. And because of that, people are very envious of you. People are very envious of the way that you radiate. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, reflect on who you used to hang out with and really look at who you've physically been interacting with lately. Cancer is really working through this, finding the balance between white and dark, right? Finding the balance between good magic, bad magic. Finding the balance between Cancer is finding the balance between a divine counterpart and a karmic. Finding the balance between who they emotionally, mentally, physically, and energetically long for, and the person that they need to separate themselves from. You're catching your karmic in a lot of freaking lies. And karmic doesn't have to be romance. It could be friends, family, it could be anybody. But you're catching your karmics in a lot of lies. And you're sending them packing. And they're really envious of what is before you, which is why they don't want to go. But it's important that you keep them focused on the past. Sorry about that. I had to make some tea. Cancer, you're about to make a very powerful move. You're about to make a very, very powerful move, Cancer. Um, so speak the, say what you need to say, Cancer, right? You're about to make a very powerful move for yourself by saying what needs to be said. And I feel like this is more so towards an individual or a role that someone plays within your life. And I do feel a lot of gratitude. I feel a lot of admiration. I feel a lot of so if you don't feel this way, then the individual you're dealing with feels this way, but it feels a lot like admiration or profound. It's very profound. It's like a not admir my God, it's almost like a deep love. It's almost like a deep love, Cancer. It's almost like you are moving towards someone that lights up your soul or fulfills you in various ways. Kind of like with Virgo. You know how I told you with Virgo, there's like this deep love that they're dealing with, that they've been fighting, or the person that they're dealing with has been fighting that connection. I almost feel like Virgo might be dealing with a Cancer or vice versa, right? So you want to just, say what needs to be said, say what you have to say. Don't wait for your person to say it for you or to you. Own your shit. Um, and I just feel like there's a lot of appreciation moving towards like the way that this individual kind of plays their role in your life, right? Like maybe you know a high vibrational individual who just happens to not be afraid to be their true authentic self and the consequences that might come with it, right? Like me personally, I went and saw Dr. Kundo the other day, and I'm like, now scheduled for MRI, sleep studies, and all this otherness. And I cannot wait to get referred to his team out in Boston because I'm just like, listen, I'm grabbing people's lung cancer and they're not even in the same building as me. I'm finding cancer within myself and taking the necessary steps before it could destroy me. And I am going to follow up and make sure that it's all gone. I just feel like another follow-up is needed. So like the more you're awakening and experiencing things, I just feel like there's someone in your life that might be playing a role somehow, some way, and that love, that profound feeling, that like again, if this is not you, this is them, but it's just like I love every detail about you. It's almost like from head to toe, every imperfection is exactly perfect. Um, Say what you need to say. You need to share that information with your person. You need to speak up, and if you can't, write it down and hand it to them, kind of flow. So that's really it. And again, all of this is relevant straight across the board because regardless of where your placements are, the people you deal with may have these signs in their placements as well. So every sign really affects you. So it's you could replay this or go on podcasts and just kind of go through the whole thing and leave the signs out or just use the signs as key points. But this is what the overall energy is. And I'm going to end this now so I can upload this quickly. Divinity648.com for scheduling appointments and more.